Fresh and
All right, welcome back to another episode of Fresh and Buds. It is episode 99, and I am still your host, Tommy Fresh, and you are all of my buds. This week, we are joined by a bud by the name of Hamish from Push the Point, which is a great podcast. Hamish is a great dude. We've chatted quite a bit now, and I can't wait to have this chat with him this week. We're going to talk all about Dusk Till Dawn and kind of our initial impressions. We're going to get into some other stuff. It's going to be a blast. Speaking of Dusk Till Dawn, if you haven't checked out the Expendable Limbs spoiler video that we did here on the channel, I implore you to go check it out. I'm sure you've seen the card at this point, but the videos was a lot of fun to make, and you get to see some, real serious acting by, yours truly. And it was a blast. But we got a great episode, and I can't wait to get to it. But before we do, I do want to shout out to the Patreon, which you can find in the show notes. Helps keep the lights on and the mics hot. It is a good place to help support the show. And on top of that, check out the Buds Discord, which is a great place to hang out. It's a great community. It's very open, and I love hanging out in there, all the time. And it's a good time, and I would love for you to check it out. On top of that, I would like you to, if you're listening, go check out the YouTube. If you're watching, give us the old like, comment, subscribe. We're very close to 500 subscribers. I will be dressing up as the Shadowborn Abomination soon. Probably not Leviah Redeemed or Consumed, but we'll see. Maybe we'll get a little wacky with it. It's going to be a blast. And something else that you can find on the YouTube is the Bud Rush Bella, which is a live podcast that I do with Mr. Viz, aka Gary, every week. And it's a good time. Shout out to Greg, our wonderful producer, just the best human being ever.
Hey, Tommy, love you too, bud. Just down here in the edit dungeon in my jammies. Really excited for this episode with Hamish. Glad you're able to join us, friend. But I need you guys to help me out. There's this song that's been stuck in my head, kind of obscure. This band called Salvia from like the early 2000s. They had this song where it's like, you hear me coming on your stereo, coming out your radio, click, click.
Boom. Stick around for the end of the show when we get a small message from Charmer. All right, we are here with Hamish from Push the Point, a new friend, actually. We had always chatted a little bit online, but now, we were just chatting for like, I don't know, half an hour before we start recording. It's like, old friends, and it's pretty awesome, to be honest. And I'm, really happy to have you here. How you doing, buddy?
I'm all good, bro. I'm all good. I am finally relieved that the spoiler season stuff is done, and I say that in the nicest way, because last week I was becoming a chair, as it was going, because a lot of work's been going on over the week. We all got our spoilers pretty soon. It was Friday that we got our spoiler came through. Some people even got theirs even later. Yeah. And the last two that we got, we had like 2 weeks before, even a little bit longer. So depending on what you want to do and what we like to do, takes a little bit of time and thought and sitting down to create it. It was a little bit. We thought this is pretty tight, but we can do it. And then luckily, within that email, Alex sent me a lovely opportunity to do some audio work with Vincent, the official LSS spoiler release. And I was like, sweet, that's really cool. Always say yes. That's my trick, everyone.
Yes.
Even if you don't know if you can do it, just say yes, because it's easier to say I can't do it than it is to say, you might as well try. So I said, yeah. And then I got a reply back on Monday going, cool, yeah, let's do this. And I was like, right, okay, that's cool. I've already got kind of started with our spoiler anyway. We luckily got the card Friday. And I said, when do you need this audio by? Thursday. I said, sweet, bro. I am now a chair all week doing audio work for the spoiler and the official Vincent release. So it's done. And I was really excited to see what people thought of it. So it's done now. So I'm like, and I kind of now feel like the, so much has happened. It's like back on the train, back on the train. We're getting calling ready for the UK. So we're casting that. So we're trying to get all the plans together to work that out. And then it's this week's content, tonight's podcast. It's just, yeah. And real life.
Yeah, somehow we fit real life into it.
I know my wife is very supportive, but we've also got kids, so we've got to fab dads. Fab dads. It's a real thing.
Oh yeah. Shout out to the fab dads. Now I do want to say both your spoiler video and the Vincent kind of announcement trailer were excellent, right?
Thank you.
And just can you give us a little bit of like background into like what was the thought process for both of them, and like what kind of work you had to do, especially in the short 3 days to put together that audio work for the Vincent reveal was I have to imagine was insane.
So which one do you kind of want to know first? I suppose it's I could put right. Okay, I think they both kind of tie into, I suppose, really the same sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the process of what we did for the Shadowpeed one was pretty much largely down to what we remember doing from the last two spoiler ones, where we have a script, we kind of play around with the story based on the art that we've seen, and then because a lot of people actually really liked the first one we did with Looming Doom, where we just dropped heavy music on it, because that was kind of what I had in my head. I'm always listening to loads of heavy metal stuff, and I always just think, they've got such impactful breakdowns, and I just in my head it just feels like natural to just sort of go, and then it just here's your card, and have the music to sort of really emphasize what that card's trying to do and finding the right music behind it, kind of like when you see video games and trailers and stuff like that, and then they drop it, and it's like, oh yeah, title music, or, the title of the film comes up, and everyone's like, oh, that's so cool. So that's what we did on that one, and it worked. And a lot of people went, wow, I really love the heavy metal. Not at the time, I couldn't watch every spoiler, but it felt like it was something that wasn't looked at and explored a lot. I mean, turns out we've got a lot of heavy metal fans in Flesh and Blood. So, and even if you didn't like heavy metal, it's impact.
Mm-hmm.
So it landed well. Then we did it again for the other one. Again, that went really well. So let's just, we know what we like doing. So let's just do that. So Trip, one of the co-hosts of Push the Point, he always does the script. So he comes up with the script every time, and he's very good at it. It's very poetic, and then the voice acting part is just, I know it's different every time actually. So the Looming Doom one, we had Kate, who was actually also the voice actor for Vincent,
mm-hmm.
who is Dan Tripp's wife. So that's handy.
Yeah,
she's
that helps.
So that's handy. so we had her, and then I just did a demon voice. And had a go at it, and it was okay. It was that Looming Doom one was actually rubbish. I hate it a lot. I don't like it because everyone goes, I can't understand it. That's true, because there's genuine words attached to that, and it's really cool words, but no one understood it. And all I did was the first take as a idea. I sort of watched a YouTube clip and had a go, and then went, I'm going to put some metal behind it as well, and it just. Yeah, and then Trip went, oh, that's so cool. Let's just do that. And then it kind of, everyone went, oh, it does sound cool, but I really don't know what the hell you're saying. I was like, yeah, I know. So yeah, that was that one. And then Trip also knows another guy who is a genuine voice actor as well, like a real genuine voice actor for the second spoiler that we did. So we had Kate as the woman, and I can't remember his name. I think it's Tom. I can't remember. He did the voice acting as the man who was like, oh, your boy, this cleric guy. I don't know. We just made this story up. And in this one, we didn't use any of them. We decided, right, we've got 3 knights or so, a cleric, a knight, and a Templar. So what are we going to do? And Simon and Sean said, well, we haven't got long, so shall we do some lines? And I went, yeah, just record it, see what happens. And yeah, they brought it out, and Trip was going to do it. I said, I'm the shadow feed, right, dude? I need to be the shadow feed. I've been. It's just like I felt like this was made for me. And then we just did it. We just whacked it out. They did their lines. I got it, and then I went, right, okay, let's just do the audio work. And it was just then the hardest part is just starting.
Yeah.
With it all, how are we going to convey this feeling? The script does a lot of that, but then you've got to also take on the emotions of the characters that are saying these parts as well. How, when I just put them all together, how does that sort of feel? How does that start? Where do we get the music in? Where do we get certain parts of the music to just sort of emphasize certain points? Is it dramatic enough? And yeah, and the script that we got, I just then spliced that up into like the certain takes on certain lines were just like, well, this is dog shit. We're not voice actors, so it was also just going to be like, okay. So I had to cut some bits of, including what I did, just to go. They're just not working. And then then it just came up with it, and then it was just trying to weave it all together, and it took ages. It took absolutely ages. It was actually rubbish for about 6 hours. And that was only just like me trying to just get it. And I was just like, we know the lines are good, but I'm just not feeling it. And then I got up and had some dinner, and I was starting to have a little bit of anxiety over it, because I was just like, this is horrible feeling of vision to expectation, and then you lower your you lower the vision to meet the expectations to a point where you're actually happy in between.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't even meeting the expectations, and that's when I was just like, I know this could be so much better, and I'm not getting it. And then it sounds really silly, but you hear in the video all these knights like, I just went, I need to have something more going on than just music and voice.
Yeah.
And then I found that and just went, I'm just going to put it in and just see what happens. And then all of a sudden it was life.
It was the missing piece.
It was 100%. And then it went, oh my God, this is all coming to life now. And then I'm hearing these people going, oh. Just went, oh, okay, cool. I can sit there and make some, I got loads of milkshake. And then I was just like, eat, and I'm just I'm gonna put this bit in here to make it sound like this guy's getting. And I heard this like crunching, like pulling sound going on, like, and I was like, oh my God, yeah, I'm gonna tie that in as if I'm just ripping some guy's bit, whatever. And then then it all just started. Once you've got that, you then got something really, really, really good, and then that's when that creative energy just really got going, and it was perfect because. That's the next day. I then had a meeting with Alex to talk about Vincent, and he gave me a script again. So, but that was a lot. You would have thought that would have been a lot easier because he gave me the music, he gave me the script.
Yeah.
And then I just thought, well, okay, well, this pretty much does it itself, right? That one took so much longer. I don't know why. It's because I was just. I don't know. I think it was because, like. It's LSS's one now.
Mm-hmm. Because you can, if something isn't perfect for your own channel or whatever, you're like, well, my listeners, my fans will they'll be like, yeah, whatever, it was awesome regardless. And then when you're doing it for someone else, you're like, this, and all the eyes and ears are going to be on this. You're like, oh my God, I understand.
And then I know that Free Floating helped create the Bolton one, and these guys are immensely talented individuals.
Yes,
they're actors and I don't know really. I know that Sam is an actor. I know that God, I feel awful now. Dude that plays Cobra Kai,
Jacob.
Jake, and then the other guy, they all work in theatre. They all work in, it's Hollywood, baby. So they understand stage. They understand, all of that. And I'm just like, dude, I'm just this random guy in England who who's a care manager for getting people out of hospital. That's my job, right? I work in social care.
Yeah.
How do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you
It's-
sort of got to go. You got to overdo. You know, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, they're expecting that, right? Or not? I don't know. But I just needed to. This is feeling of delivering.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I really enjoyed it because the script never said the Levia scream.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And
when you,
yeah,
I don't know if you
yeah.
saw it. Yeah, and then he goes, "Oh, Levia," and then he goes, like, I just went, I just found that bit and went, because I saw the storyboard and you saw the picture of what Levia consumed.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I saw that photo
Oh, that was
in the storyboard and I went, Jesus Christ, this thing looks like a Tyrannid from Warhammer, right? This thing looks
it's grotesque.
nuts. And I just went, whoa. And I was like, is this in the storyboard? Because is this coming in the thing? Because I don't really know, because I don't see it. There's no visuals. It's just Alex talking. You know, the words.
Yeah.
And then there's some pictures. Yeah, okay. And here's the music. And you're all right, okay, cool. And he just went, just, you know, go make it.
Go do it. Have
Go
fun.
do it. Yeah,
or
pretty much.
not.
And then so once Kate did her line, she gave me like 7 takes, and then you need a maniacal laugh as well. You know, so she gave me like 2 minutes of maniacal laughing, and I called it the laughing hellscape because I had to sit in that thing finding the right laugh or forever. I was like, Jesus Christ. And
You're just like losing it.
Yeah. And here's a fun fact. Made one, sent it. Not the right voice.
Oh no.
No.
That
Do it
is
again. Do it again. You gotta go back. I
Do
know
it
that was
again.
what you all heard take 2.
Oh God.
Yeah, I know. But the music placement as well. They wanted to change that. That was going to be changed. But it, you know, but long story short, the original one, it's just a lot really, and it may sound like it was really stressful, but it was actually incredibly enjoyable, and it's just trying to get the right thing, and all of us in that. It's just driven by passion to deliver something that is going to make people very excited for it. And that's my secret, I suppose, really. That's the one thing I've been told by a lot of people, that I put an inordinate amount of effort into things that I like. No one else, you don't have to do this much. And I go, and it sounds cocky. I just know that when I get into it, it's like, dude, you're putting in overtime. I'm like, yeah, but who cares, man? It's gonna be fucking sick.
Yeah. You want something to be? You want it to be impactful.
Yeah,
you want it to be
really good.
Yeah. And hey, listen. I mean, well, to anybody listening, please go check both videos out. Obviously, the Shadowpede's going to be on Push the Points channel. I guess.
Yeah.
I saw the tweet for the Vincent trailer.
They've got it on YouTube. So it's on their official Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Gotcha.
So that trailer is meant to. It's also attached to the story, the second part of the story as well.
Yeah.
So, and amazingly, I had they're brilliant, absolutely brilliant at giving you sort of direction and feel. And then I did it, came out, and I still went, I have no idea what this is.
What's come next?
I thought you think I know a lot, and I'm like, I know something. But not enough, you know, even when I was watching it for the first time with everyone else going like,
what's next?
I wonder what this will do. Yeah, I know the audio, but they may alter some bits that I've done, but they didn't. Well, they did near the end, but it was just like, oh wow, okay, cool. What's the visuals going to look like? Oh, sick. And then I was like, oh, what pictures did they even use in the visuals? It was just like, okay, these are really cool. I was thinking this, but this is even cooler. And then they went, oh, here's a story. It's like, oh, sweet, a story.
I mean, listen, LSS. especially with Dusk Till Dawn, is just knocking it out of the park with
yeah.
the lore and just the story. Like, you know, Monarch, for a lot of us, like, we all started around then, you know, and it was like cool, right? Like Shadow versus Light.
It was sick.
Yeah, it was awesome. And then we kind of depart from that, and we're like, when do we go back? And we finally did. And like things started to make sense and come together, and then, like, you know, I've made this comment before, but this is probably the Empire Strikes Back of the storyline.
Yes, exactly that.
And then you know, and then we'll have Return of the Jedi in a couple years or whatever. So whenever Bolton and Leviah LL, and they need to reprint those heroes. So, but you know, hey, listen, it was awesome. But and you did a great job, and you know, kind of, if there is a reason they went to you to do that, right? You know, they had faith in you. They knew that you could do it, and
I'm humbled because it goes to show that I feel like an inordinate amount of passion into what you're doing takes many goes before eventually you hope it will get picked up. And even then, there are some, you know, even then it isn't. But as long as you enjoy what you're doing, making what you're making, you take any opportunity that comes to you, and people go, well, that's very lucky of you. It's like, it is luck. But Hayden pointed this out in his Arsenal Pass thing, which he referenced Darren Brown, which I did watch. So I'm not. So in other words, we're both just nicking this from Darren Brown. He had this amazing story of people saying they had the worst luck, and they recorded this guy with the worst luck. I'm just rehashing Hayden's story. Long story short, they filmed the guy, and they put £100 like on the floor, and he walked by it, and he was like, "How unlucky!" And he went, "The dude never took any opportunity to see outside of what's around them. They didn't say yes to things.
Yeah,
you know, they didn't overdo something. You know, just go for it. Just say yes. Just try, and then you never know."
You put your own destiny in your hands, right? You know,
exactly.
Because if it falls short, you know, maybe you can at least take stock. What can I do better next time, right? You know, if I'm given that opportunity again, and I get it, man. Yes to everything. I've always said yes. I think it helps, right? Like, and it's like, and then you get to not only does it get you awesome stuff that you like can build your channel or whatever, you also get to experience things that maybe you never experienced, right? Like, and that's what life's about, right? You want to like have all these great experiences.
I kind of look at this spoiler season is done, and I feel like I've just learned a lot more on what I enjoy. But I also look at the spoiler season and go, and here's a flesh and blood term, it's the end of the turn. So I draw my hand back up now.
Yeah.
What happened last turn? It doesn't matter now. I've learned from what I've done, but I'm not going to turn around and think that I've still got the same crazy turn all the time now. The spoiler season's done. It's now a new turn. And now I'm going to have to, it's about remembering to just going, it's gone. It's moved on. So just as if you're going to start this again. Just enjoy making things again.
Yeah.
You know, just enjoy going back to going and just enjoy making it. And there's no expectations. Every single set, I go by the rule of, I'm probably not going to get a spoiler. Like, even after all this.
Sure.
After all this, I'm probably not going to get a spoiler on the last one, but who cares? I'm just going to enjoy making it anyway, without the hope of receiving a thing at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because you just you know, when you're creating it, you're making better content because you're enjoying it anyway, rather than trying to find an outcome of what it leads to. Just who cares where it leads? Just do it. Just have fun. I don't know. It might be a crazy outlook, but
no. I think it's the best way. I mean, listen, you know, I just had my first spoiler video, and
it was amazing.
I appreciate it, and this is episode 99 of this podcast. So, like, obviously. I'm doing it because I like doing this, right? If I had given up whenever I didn't get a spoiler, obviously sometimes it sucked. I will say
it's hard. It is hard, but it moves on.
Mm-hmm.
It does move on ridiculously quick. Whoever didn't get a spoiler and he felt like it did, it's done now. No one gives a crap anymore. No one cares about spoilers anymore. It is done as done.
Now they want to know what deck you built. So go out there and build it, and that's exactly it. And
exactly.
To quote, I think it's Kobe Bryant. Like somebody like he won a big game in the playoffs, and somebody's like, all right, so how are you feeling? He's like, job's not finished. Job's not finished. Job's not finished. Like get out there and like keep do if you love it, keep doing it. But that does bring me to a question I have for you, Hamish.
Ooh.
Content creation.
Yeah.
We just had like a nice long, chat about that. No, it's perfect.
I ramble.
No, I love it. This is podcast. And that's actually the funny thing you said. It's like, it's such the duality of podcasting and like other content, right? Like other content, you're like, I got to make sure, like I'm going over this and making sure that it's perfect. But like podcasting, we don't have that kind of luxury. It's just we're talking, and obviously, hopefully, we don't lose the episode, which has happened. But we're not going to lose this one.
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario.
That's the worst case scenario. Then you have to have we got to have a genuine conversation again, which is always possible. But we're putting this on wax right now, and it's going out into the world, which is kind of interesting. But that leads me to my question about content creation before Push the Point.
Yeah.
Did you have a passion for creating content in your other endeavors?
I was a content creator for other games prior to Push the Point. And funny enough, actually, I did, it lasted 6 episodes, but I did a podcast for Flesh and Blood before Push the Point. And it lasted 6 episodes, and it died because of the just creative differences, really.
Sure.
The guy, I was doing it with friends, and then when you're doing it with like some friends that I knew like really long time, and just started eking into the friendship, and I'm like, no, done, done as a door now. But yeah, I was doing content creation for different games prior. Nothing big. This is the biggest that I've managed to ever get content creating going. But yeah, a lot of learning from those other ones, from Netrunner, Warhammer Conquest, as well as this awesome game. I still got a poster of Warhammer Champions. I did some content creating for that, and so a lot of learning from that. A lot of learning. Well, I was doing what a lot of people are doing now. When they start up anything, it's you feel like when you don't know what to do, you feel like you've got to be more formal. Mm-hmm. You got to formalize everything, and you don't know what being loose and flying by the seat of your pants. That sounds ridiculously scary. So we're going to formalize everything and go, oh, no. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 1. My name is this. Say hello. The person of just say hello, Philip. Hi, I'm Philip. You know what I mean? And then you're like, today's episode, and that's fine. A lot of people really like that, but you know what I mean? You gotta. Everyone loves it when you just loosen up a little bit. So when I jumped into this one, I already knew you got to loosen up.
Mm-hmm.
I already knew all this sort of stuff, so it helped get the ball sort of rolling when we started at Push the Point to sort of have this direction. And I kind of bumped into Simon and Trip through starting the game. I just came out of this other podcast where we just went no. And funny enough, I actually turned around and said, I'm never going to do content for Flesh and Blood ever. Because I just did these other ones. It is a lot of work. I really wanted to have this rare opportunity, which is obviously now I've learned. It's not in my nature at all. I want to just take this game for what it is. I want to have free reign to say what I feel without thinking, got a brand attached to me.
Yeah.
But even though it's nothing, but you know what I mean? You're representing something. Why don't I just be this nameless guy that can go, this is rubbish, and I blah blah blah. And I look at it and thinking, God, that's so liberating to just say what you think and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, I'll try that. I'll try that. It didn't last because I just love making stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I found Simon and Trip. And the biggest thing why I picked them was because I thought, well, these guys vocally sound, and act completely different to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's perfect. I've literally got the buffoon, which is me. We've got the chill, cool dude, which is Trip, and the very prim and proper Simon. Like Ed, and Eddie.
Yeah. And it's a perfect blend, right? And then you guys can, nothing sticks at one person every single time because it's always going to continue to go in the motion of that conversation, right?
That's it.
It was just very, very cool. It's just like it's like gosh, it's almost like a triangle or pyramid meta, right? Prism, Starvo, and Chain or whatever. It's they're all doing something there. So
they're all doing something, but we enjoy we've all got the same passion. It took a number of episodes, but we deliberately knew that we're kind of on this journey of us all learning each other, which is also perfect because you're gonna if you ever kind of watched I don't recommend you do I don't, but maybe you should go check out some very, very old stuff and sort of hear, if you're intrigued, which you probably won't be, but if you're intrigued on how were we kind of like before. And near the start we were kind of a bit nervous of making fun of each other. Yeah. And I remember dropping when Simon, I think he lost getting into something, and I just went, oh well, if you maybe you're just totally shit. And then, but now I would say it. We'd all say it. We'd all just sort of backslapping each other. Now it's normal, but at the time I thought I'm just going to just sort of just throw this in there, bants and all that.
You don't want to overstep it like initially.
No, I know.
Yeah, no, then there's no going back.
I think it was like, that's it. But it was we kind of doing that on chat anyway. Kind of just laugh. We're sort of becoming and working out being friends while we're going on this journey. It was really fascinating, and just to really get to know each other. But we all had this absolute drive and passion to do this, and you never know how things are going to go, so we just went, let's have a rock and roll and try it out. And we're all kind of free flowing, working things out. And now, Jesus Christ, if I lost, we're literally all just really, it's not ridicule, but it is like we're happy to laugh at the failures because we're going to pick each other up, and we're all rooting for each other. We're friends. We're really good friends now, and it's episode 53 coming up because we do it every other week because there's no way I'm doing this every week.
Yeah, Fab Dads, it's like
yeah, Fab Dad, real life, and our episode numbers really do not reflect the amount of time, how long we've been going on. When people go, we are now 100 and something, and what about you guys? We're 53. It's like, oh, have you started? It's like, no, we're every other week. So just we're half of anyone's numbers. We've been at this for a little while now. I've forgotten what the question was. I'm sorry.
Oh no, we were just talking about content creation, and it's a nice little origin story there, which is actually perfect, and it's I think it's the kind of proof of concept for a great podcast is that kind of friendship. You want to feel like you're hanging out with your friends. I always felt like that. That was the point of this podcast. I didn't have any friends in the game. I wanted to make them. So this is what we're doing. Like I would consider you a bud right away as soon as you're on the podcast. Boom.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and then I do think people really respond to that. I have always responded to it, and I think that's why you guys are so successful now.
What is success?
Yeah, well, it's successful in terms of I think well respected. I think people look forward to whatever you got coming out, and it's still a very small game, right? Like
it is. Yeah, we're a niche within the niche.
Exactly.
And podcasting is it's definitely a rough game, but I've come to enjoy and realize more and more now is that I could put out a video that would be analytically really good for YouTube, right? I can look at what is actually pulling in numbers. Maybe I can talk about market watch stuff. Maybe I can talk about tier list stuff. Maybe I can do some deck techs. We've done deck techs, right? I'm not going to lie, but that came from wanting to be creative with or celebrate something that we've done, or celebrate someone that I think is really, really underrated, and I really want to get to know them, and we're going to be using this deck tech to do that. We could do that, and it's going to be analytically brilliant. We can get thousands of views, but no fans. Now, and podcasts is fans that I am well more. I'm more driven, and it's so much more rewarding to have like 10 fans that really give a crap about what you got to say, and you are part of their day-to-day going to work, and you're making another person very happy. That fills me with so much more joy and pride, all those sort of things that are just like, that's awesome. Like those 10,000 views is just kind of it's like McDonald's. It's been and gone. It's awesome, right? But it's gone. It's not like a roast dinner. I love crafted into this. This is brilliant, and you'll sit with you for ages.
I couldn't agree more, because I do feel like just being like you said, being able to be part of someone's day or week is just so nice, and it just is so rewarding. And I try to stick to my schedule, right? Thursdays at noon, when I first started, whatever, I was figuring it out. You figure out what day to put it out. And Thursdays at noon, like that's what I've been on probably for like 90 episodes at this point. And it would make me ill, physically ill, if I was going to miss that window, because I was like, I want, cause
routine now.
Routine. Like I get antsy if one of my podcasts that I listen to isn't up when I expect it to be. I'm like, oh man, what, I got to drive to work. Like, I guess I can pop on music today, but I'm just looking forward to like that chat. So it's I don't know, it's awesome. But it's always really nice to hear someone else in the same space feel the same way, right? And again, this is why we do it, and it's not going to set the YouTube world on fire, but it's so much more fun.
100%. I think it takes a special. No, maybe it doesn't take a special breed, because I really don't want this to come across as like, only a select few people can really do this. I'm like, no, it doesn't. Just do it, right?
Yeah.
But once you start doing it, you soon realize that there's some weird. There's kind of most of the time it feels like a thankless reward, right? Because sometimes you really do not know what level of impact you don't do it for impact, but your audience can sometimes just be silent. You know what I mean? Sometimes you might just throw out this episode. You've done what you had to do. You've done what you're doing. You've really enjoyed it, and then never really hear anything about it. So you don't even know if you just don't know.
Yeah.
And then but that's fine. I really enjoyed making it. I had a good time having chat with my friends, and there were some really cool stories. And if no one listens to it, I mean, that's their loss, because there's some bangers in this. And I'm thinking this is really funny. And then you just rock up to an event somewhere, and then some dude goes, "Dude, I listen to your stuff. It brings me joy." And I'm like, "What?" Leave a comment, bro. I'm joking. This is brilliant.
Tell other people no.
Give us a like.
Yeah, don't keep that to yourself. Yeah, no.
No, but it feels it's so much more joy when they actually come and bring you it. So just my point is, just go out and do it. If after a little while, if you feel like no one's getting it, it's one of those things that you just gotta not do it for some sort of reward, anything that's going to come from it. You just do it because you just enjoy doing it. You enjoyed the time that you had doing it. Kind of like, I reckon we would have had this conversation if you didn't hit record.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But just record it.
Yeah. I mean,
just record it and then just throw it out there. Someone will find it funny. Did you have fun chatting? Yeah. There you go. And if everyone can tell that you are, there you go. It just kind of writes itself in the end.
100%. And it's all about authenticity, right? And I'm enjoying the hell out of this conversation. I enjoy the hell out of all of my conversations. So that and that really comes through, I think. So hey, it's really awesome. I mean, I could talk about how awesome podcasting is for probably hours and hours and hours. All right, Hamish, let's get to some flesh and blood. Our real, thing we got to talk about. But
how long have we been going on for? It's like 20 minutes?
Oh, a little bit longer.
That's about right.
We're kicking it, man. This is awesome. Yeah. Now, this is a segment in the show I like to call the Fresh Faves, Hamish. So we're going to ask you a few of your favorites in the game, and hopefully you answer them. And let's.
I've been looking forward to this bit. I've been every time you say it, I have a think, and I feel like I answer different thing. I have a different answer every time you ask this questions. So I'm finally got this opportunity to do it. So I'm really looking forward to it.
All right. Well, let's see what the answers are here on July 3rd, 2023 for Hamish.
Yeah.
First, who is your favorite hero?
Viserai.
Yes.
That goes without saying. Viserai.
Is there anything that drew you to Viserai initially?
Yeah, someone else asked me this. It was Frank from Photos with Frank, the guy that did the chain photo shots for 90 goddamn straight days. That guy's a machine. And I thought he looked like me, but yeah, he asked me the same thing. Ruler cool, bro. He just looks like the edgiest Dark Lord there is at the time when I jumped him with Dark and Rising Crucible. It was the Crucible War just kind of dropped, and then I was exploring what the game is, and everyone looked kind of human-y. And I'm a dude that likes masks and monsters and stuff like that. So, this dude is masks and purple energy stuff going on. He looks pretty cool. I don't know if he's any good, but he does look really cool. So that was it. And he had some cool story as well.
Oh, yeah.
He's got some real sick story. He became the key that unlocked Raphael, which we found out later on. But he actually, luckily, had some really one of the most detailed lores over anyone. And I was like, well, that helps.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you like monsters and stuff, and like you would think Rhinar would be right in the mix there because
Rhinar was the second.
Yeah, but his lore is not really.
Yeah, he's just a dude. He's savagey dude, beating up stuff. And that's fine. But there's definitely more got to be to it. But he was like the guy. If I jumped in at Welcome to Rave, I would have just played Rhinar, right?
For sure.
But which I do. I actually have Rhinar as well. He's my other collection. But yeah, no, Viserai. He's my dude.
Awesome. Who's your favorite? Or no, not who. What is your favorite weapon?
Ooh. Thematically or
however you want to answer it.
Yeah. Okay. My favorite weapon. Now, my heart tells me it should be Nebula Blade, right?
Yeah.
That's what my heart tells me. And I think that's right, because that sword's got a lot of really cool story baked into that. On hit's really good. I'm just trying to think, actually, is there another... I feel like, though, there's another weapon in this game that I kind of look at and feel there's so much character to this, and every time it comes at me, because normally it's coming at me because I'm never playing it, I'm like, this is going to hurt, but damn, that's cool.
Yeah.
And I think the only weapons, can I say weapons?
Yeah.
Because I love the assassin stuff. I think so much, there's so much like flavor behind that. That's just really cool. Or Luminous Ascension. That's a really cool one. But I think I'm going to rest my... no, you know what? Actually, I'm going to rest my heart on Raiden, man.
Raiden. Yes.
Raiden. Man.
Yes.
Yeah, Raiden's such a gas weapon.
Oh,
because
yeah.
when you see you imagine the Luminar Ascension, that photo is so cool with Bolton's just like rising up and there's this sword just beaming in the middle.
Oh,
you
so
know,
sweet.
it's such a cool card.
It's awesome. And now we get those courage tokens too. So it's like, all right, this is gonna be awesome.
Dude, they could have just gave us courage tokens and just give us that legendary arm piece that makes tokens if weapons hit. I'm just like, I know all these other cards they're really good, but that is understated. Like people are not realizing how good that is.
Yeah,
how good courage tokens are. You know, people kind of wrote off rune chants for ages, going, "Oh, that's arcane damage." Right? I was like, "Bro, you don't get it. It's resource.
Yeah,
and it's just sitting back. This is action points and damage hanging around just for free.
So cool, and good. So
it's good." I know. I always remember. Yeah. Anyway, we're talking about weapons. I could digress.
Oh yeah. So Raiden is a great answer.
Raiden.
That's usually my answer. I think Raiden's one of the best. Right. You know, I love Raiden. Hexagore's up there as well. Though there's some
Hexagore's good.
There's some new that new hammer.
I saw that.
That banishes itself is awesome, man.
Oh, that's so cool.
Exactly
what's it called? The Doom Hammer or something?
Yeah, something like I was just looking at it right before we hopped on. I was like, man, I can't wait. I was actually building a Leviathan deck on February. I was like, I cannot wait to get going. But all right, what's your favorite equipment?
Oh, I will have to go with the Bloodstreak Skeletor.
Oh yeah,
that one. That or. No, you know what? I take that back. And I do love Skillia. Viscerai boys out there, I love it, right? It is really cool. Artwork, sick and everything. But I changed my mind. I'm going to go with Creepers.
Okay,
Spellbound Creepers. Yeah. Spellbound Creepers, for many reasons. I just think that card, it looks really cool. Skulls and death. Yeah, pretty metal, right? But just more for the... Like, there's so much story for me, but personal story behind that card that I just love so much about it. And most of it was down to my journey into Nationals 2021, where I got into the top 8 with it. And there was only 2 Viscerais, and I was one of them. And just Creepers, man, was just such an integral part to that, and it was really cool, and it still to this day is one of the key pieces of even within set. You're going to be thinking about all these different lines and stuff, and Creepers is going to push that to the limit, and I don't care what anyone says. And now we've got a hero that gives you unpreventable arcane damage. Those boots are going to be sticking around for a little while.
Oh yeah,
it is so cool. that card is just
sort of like 20 counters on it.
My only critique is that I wish they cold foiled it a little bit differently. I think if they went back and re-cold foiled it, it wouldn't be this absolute glaze of silver over parts, and it's just like okay. I think they would have done it a little bit more clever. But other than that, Creepers is my jam.
All right, now what's your favorite run-of-the-mill card in your deck? Your attack action cards, your non-attack actions / instance things you throw in the deck.
Oh, okay. There's been a whole new load of cards coming out. It's really weird. One of my favorite. Can it be different?
Sure. Whatever. However you want to answer it. This is open forum.
Okay. I love Luminar Ascension. Alongside Mordred Tide. Those cards bring me a immense amount of joy. My favorite attack action would have to be I'm trying to base this on I don't know, because I'm a competitive player, and I've also just this massive lore freak as well. I've got different sort of hooks to hang on different things. It's really difficult, but the card is rubbish, but I love it so much. Is Arknight Ascendancy.
Which Arknight Ascendancy? Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, that one, if it hit, it's dominate, it comes in for 5. Boo. But if it hits, it makes a load of rune chance, and you just see Viserai just looking almighty and powerful, and you're like, oh my god, there's just so much cool stuff into it. So that's the card I'd pick in terms of like, oh, this is really, really cool. But in terms of an actual attack, I love Crippling Crush as well. I think that card is just like, it's just really cool.
It's devastating.
Art of War, sick card.
It's great.
I love Art of War.
It's so good. I mean, and it's about to be even better,
Yeah, that's got to be one of my favorite instants. Defense reactions, reduce the rune chance, real cool. I really like. I think the defense reaction wise, I'll go reduce the rune chant. I don't play it that much, but I just love its flavor and its art behind it. As you can tell, I really like Viserai. And Tat reaction. Oh, become the art, but not become the art knight. Beacons of victory, bro.
Oh yeah,
Beacons of victory, bro.
Yeah, send it home. Yeah,
cards cracked.
Oh yeah. I can't. You know what? This is actually perfect segue into like talking a little bit about our initial impressions of Dusk Till Dawn. And I do want to talk about Bolton, right?
Hit me.
I am so excited, and this is what it feels like to me, based on what we see. And I haven't had a lot of time. We haven't, literally, it finished like
it's Monday, right?
It's Monday now. Finished. 10 hours ago,
Sunday.
It finished.
Yeah.
And haven't had a lot of time to sit with it. And I know a lot of people are down on what's going on with Bolton. I'm not one of those people. I think it is going to be this really cool way to play the deck. Load up the soul, go crazy. You're not doing the saber thing. I think Raiden's now the main character of Bolton, right?
Always was. This saber guy. No, I've been hamming on sabers in my own podcast. I get it, right? I get it.
Yeah.
But anyway, I completely agree, and I actually empathize with people's points on why they think it's garbage. I'm like, I get it.
At its face, it looks.
It just doesn't feel good. I get it. It just doesn't feel good. But I think you gotta really. It's like a podcast. Bolton's like a podcast. You gotta get in. You got to really get yourself into it. Just really give it a go. And when you start looking at become a beacon of victory in your hand, and you've got about 4 or 5 cards in your soul, I'm telling you now, you're going to feel pretty darn powerful right now.
Yeah.
You could play a card that you can choose how strong you want this attack to land. And then you can pick any action cards you want from your deck to push this even further. How many cards do I need to go at? How many? There's so much little intricate lines working out through that because you've got a tutor card. And maybe that's why I picked up Reiner. He's got a tutor card. I've picked up Viserai. He's got a tutor card. And Bolton's got a tutor card. Playing anything that can turn around and go, find what you want, is just the lines open up into something where you can go, oh, okay, well, I can. So if I could grab this instead, or maybe 9 times out of 10 it's probably always Lumina Ascension, right? But you could sometimes you can just look at those things and actually think, you know what, maybe I need to save my Lumina from maybe another point. Maybe I just, he's actually just got a whole load of fridge, and 9 times out of 10 it's usually Lumina. But it's just having that options, those that all of that there, and now we've actually got some
better targets, right? You got we had even if you look at I think now, like you said, 9 times out of 10 is Lumina. I think now it's probably a little bit less. Probably still Lumina is probably the number one thing you want to grab.
I think Lumina is pretty good, especially when you get Spirit of Arena.
Yeah.
It's like, this is going to be crazy.
Now we have more options, which is even cooler. And then you can I think we'll see like Bolton decks that are running these like weird one-ofs, right? That you can kind of just stuff that makes sense in whatever situation, like especially for on the Raiden plan. Obviously for Sabers, we talked about.
I don't know. I honestly don't know what the like the Sabres thing. Maybe, I don't know. I could be wrong. Sabres could still do what Sabres is doing.
Yeah.
And it will still do fine. It just hasn't got anything completely massively major, because even that new chess piece does look like that'll be actually pretty good to just start really jamming those cards into that soul real quick. Oh, you got to get rid of the most critical piece of the whole combo, courage. Okay, well that just doesn't work at all, right? So they'll be fine, but I think it's just more it's the courage token. Like all the other things are really cool, and I genuinely looked at this and went, if I could just put a courage token in this deck just feels so much more refined. It's so much. It just smooths out so many awkward moments when I'm looking at this, going, well, I could just come in and do a 0-3 charge him, and then they'll just go, no blocks, bro. Yeah, all right. And it is really like, okay, I guess I hoped I put an attack reaction in my arsenal, or do I need to pop this? My snappies now, just to keep, no courage token. Oh, that's cool. I honestly just don't care what you do. You're doomed if you do. You're doomed if you don't.
Yeah.
So, and that's what Bolton is very, very good at when he starts to get that tempo of where near the end he just gives you that question of, you're kind of screwed either way, mate. If you just don't block me, it's going to be really bad. But if you do, imagine all your attack action cards are blocked too. Just imagine.
Oh yeah.
Well, the first one is a block too. Just doesn't feel good, does it?
No, not
and you
at
can't
all.
stop me anyway. And now that's where we're at now. So I think there's also an Axis build out there. I honestly think that there's got to be, right. There's this card that I think is Garbo. There's that aura that it just hangs around, and if you can attack reaction charge. Is that I think I've got that right.
I think
so.
There's
Otherwise
something
I'm
like
sound
that.
Like an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, well, listen, we're very fresh with all these cards.
No, we are, but I'm so eager. I'm trying to find it.
It's interesting.
I love it.
I can't wait. Like,
V for Valor, that's it. V for Valor, zero cost aura. He doesn't have go again. Attack reaction. Destroy this. Charge a hero's soul. Target attack gets +3. I looked at that and went, no. No. And then I went, why? And then I went, Axes. I get it now. Maybe you could put this card in and just, I don't know how, because it's an aura without go again. Just seems a bit, and it blocks with 2. Ew, right?
Yeah.
Maybe I don't need to actually put attack action cards that charge anymore. Maybe what happens if I put 9 of these in? What does that look like? So if I put 9 of these in, could I just actually have a lot of warrior attack reactions?
Yeah. It's really interesting.
Who cares? Because charging has no, it doesn't say, if it's yellow or if it's this or if it's that. They don't care. Just here you go, charge this attack reaction. You're like, yeah, all right, cool. So now I'm charged, and I've got +3. So can I now just force go agains on weapons that normally, and maybe someone's going to tell me, just play Warriors, Warriors Valor, bro. If this hits, get go again. I'm like, yeah, I know, right? I know, I get it, right?
Yeah.
There's something here that we can explore, and then we've got Valiant Dynamos. We've got this new chess piece that if there's something here that we are charging through the we've got different ways of charging cards without it being attack action cards. Maybe we do need to put some attack action cards in. Maybe we do. We've also got Prayer of Bologna. Look at the top card. If it's a yellow, put it in your hand and then just charge. No attack.
Yeah. I mean, it's so cool what we got here, right, in Dusk Till Dawn, because, like, especially, so this is something that was an issue with Chain, right? Like, Chain could just kind of play, Visceri stuff. Whatever. Chain's gone. The problem...
He's a different thing.
Bolton and Levia, and we'll get to Levia in a hot second here, but Bolton and Levia always just felt like you have the cards you have to play, and you got to jam them into the deck, right? And that's it.
Much, yeah.
And it was just a very limited pool because they, obviously you can mess around with different 6s with Levia, and like Bolton had like some weird builds
you
here
had
and
two
there.
different deck builds. You had literally
Yeah.
a Sabres build, and you had a Raiden build. And that was cool. But they were just fine.
They felt redundant in some ways, right? And then whatever. But now we have so many extra options that it's totally open. And I would be willing to bet like in like a couple weeks or something like that, Josh Lau's going to win some big tournament with some crazy Bolton deck, and we're all going to be like, oh, okay,
Yeah, no, I'm going to say this is that Bolton is the subtle. It's a lot more subtle.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't like Levia, or is it Levia? It's Levia, whatever. She got some genuine strict, complete overhaul upgrades. Mm-hmm. She's been overhauled, in my opinion.
Yes,
where they turn around and just released effectively Rhinar cards.
Yeah,
for Levia, they instead if you just remove the word discard and change the word banish, same we literally got that Rhinar card. I think it was like battering bolt or whatever. Not battering bolt, but it's the Rhinar card. 2 cost 6. If you discard a 6 cost card, this card has go again. This card, the other one is just literally it's 2 cost 6. If you banish a 6 cost card, this has go again. It's the same card.
Yep.
But we go, rather than this whole draw 3 random cards from the bin instead of 6. There we go. Let's dump all this in. Now you can actually slowly increment your banish zone. Through, rather than have 3 in there. 3, I only needed 1. But 3 in, it's a complete overhaul and a new hero. Where you've got 2 different sides. This is like the whole Vincent and Prism thing was just the front of the car. Yeah, and you're like, oh, yeah, that's cool, bro. That's cool. And you open the box and he goes, it's got a V8 in here. It's like, yeah.
I mean, that's what it feels like. Oh my god! And then you're gonna find out that it had some other it had nitro in there, and you didn't even realize, and that's Bolton.
And that's Bolton. Bolton's like, holy crap! It's got the whole thing turns into a screen, and I can reverse, and it's like, oh wow, the interior of this is crazy. But Levia is the V8 man. Levia is it's just straight up won the set. Like, I know Vincent's cool. Prism was really cool, and they're the poster, right? Yeah, they're the poster. But their stuff is at the minute. Prism feels like competitively whack. I can't. I'm not going to be the one that's going to figure it out. But there is some hoops, and I think a lot of people are looking at Luminaris and remembering Luminaris and was what it was, not the new one, the old one. You guys rode on that powerful weapon train. Yeah. And by the way, this whole weapon banning stuff, it's because of this card. Let's be straight. I know Rosetta Thorn is pretty cracked, but this card is like, it would have been a problem. Prism could be blanked. She could have a blank text box. It would still be good. Yeah. It's because this weapon's so crazy. And now they've actually got a really cool, a really strong hero ability that goes, when this herald goes in, tutor. Just tutor this card. Yep. And put it in. And you're like, okay. And then when the card lands, it just does something crazy for a turn. And you're like, oh, okay. So if this herald's hit, it's just got more effects. What a really powerful hero ability. It turns out when you kind of mess with a weapon, it makes everyone go, they really can't scratch their heads on it. And then Vincent's also really weird as that one's a real head scratcher. It will get there, but it's a real head scratcher. But Levia just sort of like went, what the hell? Yeah, Levia was like, hold my beer, it's just watch me do this. Do you remember my last analogy is, have you seen the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom? Have you played it? Yeah. I'm playing it currently. Yeah. Levia is the depths. Yeah. When you went, look at the sky. Yeah. Look at the sky, everyone. We're going to be in the sky, everyone. Yeah. Like, wow, it's Prism and Vincent. This looks really cool. It's the same game we all know. And then you go, what the hell's down there? It's the whole depths. Yeah, we just did an entire map.
Yep.
of the devs. I'm not going to tell you though. And that's Levere. Like, what? It's the best bit.
It did. Honestly, as a long-time Levire player, it's very nice to finally be eating good and like have like a lot of options, and like we have this whole demigod thing that you could choose either way to bring it in. It's a brand new design space. It's super cool.
It's just cool.
I think there's going to be redeem builds, and I think there's going to be the consume builds, right? Yeah, which is going to be so like it's just going to breed so much innovation in deck building for Brute, which is like kind of. The 6 thing is awesome.
I'm going to be what about the pure builds when you don't put any in?
Oh yeah, well yeah. There's gonna be
I'm not quoting that. Don't do. Maybe not. Maybe there's going to be some pure builds.
Yeah, the pure builds. Those are going to be people who haven't opened the redeemed yet.
Maybe
it's like tough. Like the opportunity cost of putting one card in your sideboard is not too bad, right?
No, that's true. No, but I'm just saying, challenge. You got redeem builds, consume builds, and then pure builds. I don't need this god. Right?
Yeah, I remember when we sucked. We had to really work for it.
I'm dying on this hill, bro.
I think there will be Levi players out there doing it because you can always get that little sneak in, the sneaky win.
You got to be the guy.
Yeah.
I don't need this god. I did it. I did it straight, bro.
Yeah.
I was here from the start.
Yeah. Well, you were still a twinkle in your dad's eye. I was winning with Levi. Holy smokes. But Prism's interesting to me. Like you said earlier, the kind of fetching a card is very cool, and like it almost makes me want to play Prism, and also because it looks bad, and I play bad heroes, and I can't help it. But I think Prism's not going to be competitive. Right
I'm happy to be wrong, right?
Yeah.
It is a complex hero, and someone's going to conjure up. But there's also the answer of why not Dromai.
Yeah.
If you want to really enjoy that sort of space, there's Dromai now, and that's legitimately an illusionist player's question. You could die on the hill of being a Prism fan and go for it. And maybe you'll figure it out. And it'll probably be really, maybe there's something
Those
going
angels
on
are good. Those angels are very good.
Those angels are really strong. But then when you're going to a pro tour and you've got some people that are in that space of, I really love this way of playing the game, and I want to use my passion of playing that game to leverage my ability to just want to really try at it, but I'm not going to die on the hill of the hero. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They both do fill a role of board state and pressure and control and life gained through attacking things that is not your face, right? They're both competing for that space. So do you want to die on the hill of Prism, or do you want to go with quite a well-established and actually has had some good upgrade cards?
Yeah.
Which is Dromai, with that new one that Mara thrown out that goes, let's have a look at your hand. And it's red.
Get out of here.
And it pitches for one, and he's going to go again. It's literally just, oh crap, this card is really, really good in Dromai.
It's very scary.
Yeah, exactly. I think in the early days, I think Prism is going to be in the think tank for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Personally.
Yeah, and I agree. And then moving over to Vincent, Vincent's hero ability is so unique. It's very, I think I said this before, but it is an expert level hero, right? You have to banish that card, and you have to really think. This is not traditional Runeblade thinking. This is a different access.
No, I've been having a crack at this today, and maybe happy to be wrong. You can overthink Runeblades.
Sure.
You can overthink what they're going to do. Because when you've got access to, and my example of this would be my take on Viserai. is when you've got stuff that goes, oh, we can reduce the cost of attacks through with rune chants. So these are really important. So how do we make these work? Well, we need to have cards that make rune chants. So I need to put these cards in. And then when you put them all together, you go, well, this is crap. How does anyone make this work?
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, there's just this thing that forms, and then it becomes what it is, which is what a lot of people see Viscerai work through now. And it took me, when I was a long time, to sort of get there. And in the end, it just started with the whole simple concept of, well, Duskblade came out in Tales of Aria.
Yeah.
Viscerai was, at the time, it was not even a consideration of even looking at. And I just went, well, this weapon could be good. It's obviously busted in chain.
Yeah.
Yeah, but maybe Viscerai finally has got a weapon. That's not, So I just jammed in. I'm just going to put in 9 Meridian Skies. I'm going to put in a load of lead the charges in. I'm going to put a load of attacks in. And let's just see what the hell happens. And I did that, and it was, all right. And then I swapped it to Rosetta Thorn, and then I went, well, holy shit.
This is insane.
And then that's when I took to the UK Nationals. And it was just like, well, holy shit. And I think this hero is, people are looking at it with massive amount of overcomplication because they go, but it doesn't have go again.
Yeah. It's just different.
It doesn't have go again. What if you just put skies in?
Yeah.
What if when you looked at Viscerai and went, how does anything work? Well, if you take away all those skies, we're jumping through some crap hoops here.
Oh yeah.
But what if it's not chain?
Oh wow.
What if we just put these cards in that give these cards go again? Maybe you don't need to put in as much. Maybe you can actually leverage the stuff like Requiem of the Damned and Funeral Moon.
Mm-hmm.
Requiem of the Damned gives the next attack, next non-attack go again.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe there's a way we can leverage that. Really, maybe we can, and with Funeral Moon, for example.
Yeah.
Funeral Moon and Requiem of the Damned have these non-attack action cards that are instances, right? We're in this crazy cool space at the minute, and maybe I'll go. Oh, maybe I can disguise and utilize the Rune Gate stuff to actually just come in for attack without it didn't cost me anything, right?
Yeah.
And maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm throwing out too many cards here, but there's just and you go, oh, okay, well that's just a simple attack, and then what? Then I'll come in with my flail, do 1 damage to me, coming in for 1. Yeah, probably no block, right? Okay, take 1, and then Requiem of the Damned, I'll play that as an instant. Then Funeral Moon, play that out as an instant, get my action point back because I've got an Eloquence token, and it's got go again, and it's an instant. So I got my action point back through that. And then I've just created 2 rune chants. So now I'll just have another attack. And then I've also got, just the classic good go wide cards such as, Gloomveil.
Yeah.
And then we'll be like, whoa, okay, how? It's like, it's really easy. I've got to put some cards in that just lets me have simple, effective turns of I play an attack, I attack, I swing a weapon. And then occasionally there are some moments where we're going to push this out really further, and you're going to take a lot of damage because, these attacks are coming higher than any other Runeblade attack we've had. Viscerai lives in the realm of 2 for 4, make some rune chants. Change, Christ, was 1 for 4. 0 for 3, you're like, these ones are like 2 for 6 or 3 for 6, and you're like, okay, 3 for 6 is meh, but it's not really 3 for 6, is it? It's more 0 for 9. We'll go again.
And I think Vince is going to be scary, right? Once they figure it out, right? Whoever figures it out, right? And
it'll be figured out.
Yeah, probably quickly. The Runeblade players are on it. They've been on it, right? You know, they're ready.
I'm having my go at it. It's just about remaining focused and not falling too far down the dark depths of the IRL box of cards where they go, we've got it all, and you can get consumed with overthinking.
Yeah,
but you just got to take a step back, have a look at it with a clear purpose, and just try some things out, and just look at some real cool value, like Deathly Whale. Deathly Whale red is 3 for 6, and you're like, oh my god, why not the blue?
Yeah.
Why not the blue?
Yeah, why
blue
not?
Block 3 comes in for 4.
Yeah.
And it has some useful text where if you took damage, you make a rune chant. And if they took damage, you make a rune chant.
Yeah.
I mean, for a blue, that's pretty good.
It's really, it's scary. That's what it is, unfortunately. Yeah. It's
exactly. Pretty... And you just got to find you just got to find the lines within that.
Yeah.
And I reckon the guys that play a lot of Viscerai will get there, because it kind of dabbles in a bit of what you want to do with chain a little bit. But a lot of these cards also don't really have they're not bound by playing a lot of out of the banish zone, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It seems like a lot of attacks don't really want, rune gating does get you out the banish zone. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm talking nonsense on that bit. But yeah, the rune chant banish. This is a little bit more trickier. But I think once you start honing in on some really important cards, that's going to give you that investment return on rune chants coming back, which is what a lot of Viscerai players have to do.
Yeah,
they have to work out the rune chant count. Once you start doing that, I think the banish zone starts to become a little bit more of a, like, the opponent's going to feel like this is broken.
Yeah. They're like the extra.
This is going to feel broken really quickly.
Hopefully, not chain broken, but broken enough. But
nothing will be chain broken.
Nothing will
be chain broken.
Now, to put a button on our initial reactions here.
Yeah.
To Dusk Till Dawn, I think I could say confidently, very exciting, right? Awesome.
Yes.
I'm gonna say who I think won the weekend, and I do think it's Levia.
I think that's the most obvious answer.
Yeah, the demigod thing is just it's such cool design space. I hope we see other stuff like it. I think it's very cool. So, do you have any final thoughts on Dusk Till Dawn coming out of this crazy weekend?
Yeah, it is Levia clearly won.
Mm-hmm.
Levia clearly won. She's been upgraded and somehow made cooler.
Mm-hmm.
What a feat.
Yeah.
You've made her cooler and she's good. Awesome. Mansant's now back in the driving seat, so he's the real winner. No.
Well, in a way.
I'm just winding you up. But a real roller coaster, because I feel like the Prism fans.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my initial take is just sitting back and watching the Prism fans. A lot of heartbreak.
Yeah.
A lot of heartbreak, and I think that's what makes me feel like emotionally this is deliberate. This is Empire Strikes Back. This is the good guys didn't win.
Yeah.
This is the people, but their hero. This didn't make it. Maybe they put on the front Prism. Hey, Prism's coming back. Oh, we all love Prism, don't we? You sure do love Prism, don't you? Yeah. No. What do you mean? Is this all she does? And then Levia goes, he comes out. Oh, she's really good, but Prism. And she's like, Emperor Strikes Back. The baddies are having a field day. And then I reckon, Prism will just be absolutely cracked and broken because the hero saved the day.
Yeah.
on the third one, they'll go, "Oh my god, she's like, oh,"
yeah.
and everyone and all the shadow players were like, "Oh no, we didn't get any good cards." It's like, yeah, order has been restored.
The force has been brought back to balance. Oh man.
Now as we're talking about that, that's my take. So, which ties into me thinking this has to be one of the most exciting. And I probably say this every time because we live in moments.
Yeah.
I think this is definitely the most fun, exciting set that we've been a part of due to seeing players' emotions, the interesting decisions people made, and the fact that we've celebrated a 10th set from the story of a set that we all jumped into, and they actually delivered some goddamn lore that is genuinely good. Like, not the other ones are good, but this one's meat. We got some meat, real meat. You know, like
Yes.
we've got Bravo and Oldhim and Briar and all these. The three Tales of Aria heroes. Well, it's Oldhim who seems to have a lot of bit of something about him, and then these guys. They're good. Yeah, they're good. They're all banding together to, all of that. It's like, yeah, hurrah! That's what we want.
Yeah.
So there's so much going on it, and it just makes me think. I don't know. Dynasty and Everfest were kind of just. There was no story. Well, Dynasty had some story. It was pretty cool, but it was like, yeah. It was good, but just didn't have meat. We need more meat, and everyone was just evaluating the cards differently. This feels like a draft set for some weird reason.
It does.
It's like a draft set that isn't a draft.
Yeah. A lot of people are talking about drafted 2-packs Monarch or 1-pack Dusk Till Dawn, or maybe 2 packs and 2 and 2.
I think you could. Maybe there is a thing. Maybe you could.
Which would be very, very cool. But I don't know. Hamish, I'm excited. I really can't wait to get my hands on some of these cards. But before we say goodbyes, I got some listener questions if you're keen.
Yeah, we got. If we go for a couple of them, just because Fab Dad is about to come real soon.
We'll smash through these. First comes from Mr. Viz, aka Gary, my co-host on the Blood Rush Bell. If Viscerai came to visit you in the UK, where would you take him and why?
Take him to Edinburgh. Castle's beautiful.
It really is. It really is. Been there once. I can't wait to go back.
Or my local pub because it's grim. You probably dig it there.
Nice. Greg, our producer, asked, what's your favorite type of content to produce? Because you do a lot of stuff.
Podcast, easy.
Yep. We hit that one.
The podcast, easy.
Yeah, so easy. He also asked, smash or pass Viscerai Runeblood. I think we know that is a heavy smash.
I'll smash it and marry it.
Yeah.
It's moving in.
Yeah. Sorry, babe. And finally, Sigma asked, how is the UK scene growing, and do you think it will keep growing? And how do you see Europe's scene versus the rest of the world?
Hard question, but a good one. I think it's definitely a slow sort of growth. The only sort of reference that I've got is I go to the Road to Nationals, and about a year ago, I probably know about good 80% of the field. And now I go to an event, I only know like 40%, but I'm still seeing the same 80%.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then you go, it's bigger, and I don't know who most of these people are now. So that's what I can go on. My personal life is a little bit trickier to work out, like local armory scene stuff, because I run a club and I don't manage to get over to armories that much because I run a club and I've got kids, I've got a life, I've got a content, all this stuff I'm doing, and to try and make it to an armory, it's quite tricky. But I've got my ear to the ground talking to friends who do go to my local armory in Manascrew. Shout out to anyone from the UK who lives in Northampton specifically. There you go. There's a store. If you live in this a little bit, good for you. But yeah, they've had their ebbs and flows. I think everyone in the Everfest period had a bit of a lull. I think everything just looked like a bit. But now it's the 2-year period of every game, right? Yeah, every game has a shelf life.
Yeah.
So a lot of these people's shelf lives, not because the game was bad, it's just their personal shelf life was coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to carry on doing it, and so on? And we've got over that hump now, and we're back on, and there's some really exciting stuff, and a lot of people coming back around again. So it's slowly growing. And the European scene, I'm going to say it now. European scene's the most competitive, best scene in the game. So bring it.
Clip it. No.
Bring it.
Oh,
Like,
man.
you got Michael Hamilton, man. But
Yeah.
if I remember, Europe shows up.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Europe shows up.
They do.
And as well, I'll throw out there, UK, man. UK shows up. Pro Tour, people. I know we got two, the Michael Fan one. Actually, I was very happy one. He's absolutely, genuinely an amazing human being. I love everyone that wins. I think it's not really a nasty person. But I'm just doing sports, sports mode now.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to be competitive. Yeah, let's rile things up. There was 4 UK dudes back to back, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th in Pro Tour, just sitting there. I was like, UK scene is really strong for Flesh and Blood competitively.
Absolutely.
I think the America's got this amazing ability to sort of unite around itself to get around to get people over the line, especially when you got this you got Zap Bunn's team with the Wolfpack and stuff. That's a real scary team now. That's now they're like, oh, are you good? You're good with me. Oh shit, these guys in one room testing.
Like
shocking absolutely no one when 3 of their members of the 20 does well. And they've got all these really good players testing each other. The European scene is a lot more broken up than that because the UK has some people that test with each other, and then you got France, and you got Germany, and then you got Portugal, and you got Spain, and every one of them speaks different languages, or they all do speak English, but do you know what I mean? It's completely different. Imagine in States, all of you had different languages. Yeah. In a different state. You're like, I don't understand a single word anyone's saying in Texas.
Well, sometimes, sometimes not Texas, but sometimes we don't relate that well. Here in the Northeast and down south.
I don't know where anyone's from.
Yeah.
I'm rocking boats here. I'm British.
Yeah,
I don't know.
No,
I'm
you're
just saying,
good.
if your states were very different and just completely culturally different with its own rich history to it, it's not that easy.
Yeah.
When they all got their own, it can be like that. But as America, it's just, I don't know, I'm probably overstating it. It is absolutely ginormous, that place. And it's beautiful.
We have a whole song, "America the Beautiful." It's a real banger.
It's a classic.
It's a classic. All right, Hamish. Thank you for answering all these questions. Thank you for spending time with us this week. It was awesome. I really enjoyed our chat. Please plug anything you'd like to plug. And thank you.
Seriously, this guy is criminally undersubscribed on YouTube. So go subscribe to Fresh and Bloods on YouTube. Like, first and foremost, criminally undersubscribed. Go check us out. Push the Point on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Playlist, all the podcast stuff. If you never checked us out, it's kind of, I tell you what, it's kind of similar to this. We've just got 2 other guys, and we just drink beer and just rip on each other and talk about Flesh and Blood. And we do some deck techs. We've got some interviews. We're also casting The Calling as well in the UK, which we're very excited for. And that's, I don't know. I know your opportunity to actually sell yourself, and then you sit there and go,
Well, hey, listen. I mean, I think if anybody, listen to this, they could tell that, you're a bud and you bring awesome energy. And I implore anybody out there listening to go check them out. They make great content. I'll put all the links in the show notes, all that fun stuff. We're going to be all good. You can continue to find me on Twitter at FreshBloodsPod. Subscribe to the YouTube, like, comment, subscribe. We're almost at 500 subscribers. And then I'm going to dress up do a full cosplay of Levia, which would be so much fun.
Which one?
Well, that's actually tough.
I got you now.
It was originally going to be Shadowborn Abomination. I think I still got to do the classic. I'm an old head, Hamish.
Yeah. You're pure deck builder. Right?
Yeah.
But you could just go easy mode, right?
Yeah.
And go redeemed to get some high heels on and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But if you could really go for it.
Oh yeah. I'm
You're
going
go
for it.
Consumed.
Oh God.
Oh yeah.
that's how I feel after a night of drinking, man. But
some tomato sauce everywhere.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. We're so close. If you haven't checked out the spoiler video for Expendable Limbs that we put out this past weekend, which is awesome, check out the Shadowpede. That card's bonkers. And Hamish, I always like to end every episode talk a little bit about food. So just say something you're enjoying or maybe looking forward to eating soon.
Oh, spag bowl, mate. You probably don't. Do you know what a spag bowl is?
Spaghetti?
Spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah.
I got that. It's Monday spag bowl night at the Hamish household.
Oh, very nice.
I am looking forward to that with a passion.
Oh, it sounds really good.
Well, yeah, and we put broccoli on it. My wife does this because she tries to jam vegetables in at any given moment. So today it's spag bowl with some random ass broccoli on it.
Well, hey, listen, whatever works, right? It sounds delicious. And I think that's going to do it for this week. It looks like we don't have time for Charmer, but we'll get to him next week. Thank you so much, Hamish, and everybody have a great weekend.